Well, good morning and welcome to another Acres of Reed update. We were going to do another segment on transplanting, and so the other one we did small plants. We were going to show bigger plants, but by the time we finished this bed last night, it was about 9:30 at night. And it was really dark. In fact, we went and we got our big shop light, plugged it in, and my son held it up just as high as he could, and we kept going underneath that light so that we could get it done last night, as it was going to rain and make more mud. We were having a real tough time with mud, but we needed to get these in. They were severely root bound. They were so root bound it was coming out the top. And so without further ado, we have planted 2 cucumbers here, 2 cucumbers here. I know you're supposed to hill them, but we're going to build a trellis right in here, and they can climb up that, and we might even put another cucumber in, since we'll be going up rather than around. And then in the back here we got, say, 2, 4, 6, 8 more bush green beans, so they're short. And then there are some seeds in, 2 seeds. They did germinate, but they just didn't come up very tall. So if they die out, I probably would have had to pluck them out, so we'd have strong strain. And then right here, looks big and empty. This is where we planted our peas. We have 2 rows right in here, and we have 2 rows. You might be able to kind of see it a little, all the way. Now the planting instructions said you want 2 rows 6 inches apart, and then you want 2 feet, and then another row 6 inches apart. So we actually have a lot of space between these plants. It's hard to tell in the picture here. From the center of this out, we're supposed to have 2 feet, or not 2 feet, but 1 foot. So it'd be a foot this way and a foot this way. But we planted at 9 inches our first side, so we could get it all in. It's trash day. And then we went over the full 6 inches. We got another row, and we didn't quite do 2 feet. It was about 1.5, 1 3/4 or so. And then we started our next one, and then 6 inches. And we did another, and then it was a full fit between this row and this one. We went in a bit of an angle on both here, so we got about 9 inches from the green bean over. So it should be pretty good. Now we planted seed, so they're supposed to come up pretty quick. These are early variety peas. They're bush type. They don't get very tall, and part of the reason why you plant them so close together is so that they can grow together and they'll kind of support each other at the same time. We have 72. The planting instructions said plant them for final spacing after you do your thinning. They're supposed to only be 2 inches apart. So we just planted our seeds 2 inches apart, and if they don't come up, that's okay. They will self-thin less than and give more space than their minimum. So we have 72 seeds in here. We have 17, 17, 18, and 19. And then we got our tomatoes in. We dug them just about as deep as we could go. The planting bed, we didn't We didn't get as deep as we wanted, but that's okay. There's always next year. And as we went, we put in nitrogen fertilizer several times up around the stalk and underneath the root ball and around the root ball. These were all super, just really root bound, and so we kind of loosened it. You don't want to break the roots, but we loosened them up, and we put the fertilizer around it to help encourage the roots to spread out. And these we gave the full 2 feet between each other, and it's a foot between, actually a little bit more, between the sides and the plant, so they have their full 24-inch radius or diameter. Doing this underneath the light late at night when you're really tired after a hard day's work, I think it turned out pretty good. We were up, the whole family, doing this until 11 o'clock at night. The other thing that we ended up doing is, although I did the math right, once you put it in the bed, when the math says you got about 1 inch to 1.5 inches of soil, the topsoil that we put in, you know, it just wasn't enough. Mostly because if you really paid attention in the last video, you saw what our final soil was after we had mixed in all the compost, all the cotton burr. It was like a lunar landscape. It was really just big chunks with, I mean, really big holes. There was just no way. It was so muddy, and as it started to dry, it was leaving big air pockets, and you don't want air pockets in your soil, not big ones anyways, because you can get disease and rot and all sorts of bad things. So what we ended up having to do was I put down a really thin, about a 1/2 inch at most, layer of potting soil. It's got vermiculite or whatever it's called, and a bunch of peat and fertilizer already mixed in it. So we put that in to help encourage roots to go down into that really nice manure and everything else we have down in there, and to help fill those little air gaps. And then we put down all the topsoil that we bought, and we spread it out. We shook it so it would go into all those air holes and really pack it in. And when we were done, it looked like we didn't put any kind of topsoil in at all. It just, all those holes, just it all rolled into the holes. So we went back out, bought another big bag of potting soil, 2 cubic feet, put it across the whole thing, which left a good 1/2 inch layer again on top of all that. And this time I bought like 10 bags of topsoil, which by the math was enough to do 2 inches of topsoil. And I don't think we got the full 2 inches, but it was good soil. As you can see, it's nice and dark. It's got good smell. In fact, it kind of smells a little bit like compost, so it's good soil. Anyways, they turned out, pine bed turned out real good, and we're pretty happy with it. A little bonus here. Show you the size of some of our radishes that we're getting. Oh, I have big hands, by the way, and it goes down another probably 3 inches into the ground. Some of these French radishes that we're getting out of here are just monstrous. They're turning out really yummy. Hope you enjoyed. Be a cloud watcher.